Wow, what a stream yesterday. We're coming off the back of a pretty fun one, and I don't think, well, today won't be anything quite like yesterday. Let's just say. Seemed like that time went so fast yesterday. It's like we just started the stream, and then the next thing's 5.5 hours later, and we're still cranking out, having conversations. Great to hear from Suki. Great to hear from Comptech. Great to hear from I Still Fucking Hate You. Oh, by the way, I think the VOD of that stream on YouTube is undergoing some pretty hefty scrutiny from YouTube, and it could possibly be because of that title, the on-screen avatar that Dale chose, or the handle he chose. I Still Fucking Hate You. I mean, it's been flagged. It's down. So I am going through it and fighting it or requesting a manual review. But I'm gonna say that maybe that's the reason. I don't think we didn't talk about anything political. We didn't talk about anything off limits. But for the bulk of it, the words "I still fucking hate you" was on the screen. So that's something to be mindful of next time we have a good conversation. But I am in the back end. It's the VOD's down, but it's going through the process. And once it comes up, I'll try to put all the timestamps in there so people can just timestamp themselves to when Comptech joined, and then when Dale joined, and then when Suki joined, and you can just go directly to it. But it was a fun time. It was a real fun time. Hey, I don't have a chat on YouTube. Something went wrong. I don't see a chat on YouTube. However, I don't know why that would be. Let me browser refresh. Because I wanted to say thank you again for the super chat from yesterday, which I don't think there was an alert for it on stream. Yeah, something went wrong. There's no chat there. Unless my chat has been deactivated on YouTube. I see there's viewers on YouTube too. Actually, that's a good point. Can we check? Can someone check on YouTube? Because I am running social stream chat. So if it is I mean, I just can't see it. Like, I'll show you what I'm seeing here in my back end. This is what I see in the back end at YouTube. Something went wrong on the chat, and I've trouser refreshed. Refresh your trousers. Takes you out and then takes you back in. And I just don't see a chat there. Very odd. Very odd. I mean, I've seen errors on YouTube, but I haven't seen that one before. That's a new issue, a new error. Thanks, YouTube, keeping us all alert there, keeping us on our toes. I might actually try pulling up the stream in a separate instance, separate trouser browser. Yeah, you know what? I'll bring it up. That's a good idea, actually. Thank you for suggesting that, me. I'll bring it up in the Firefox machine. Just go to, there it is, YouTube. Chill and stream. Yo, there it is. Jack made a comment. Hey, Jack, how you doing, man? Jack B5353. Okay, so the chat's there. There it is. Okay, cool. Thank you for doing that, Jack. You got in just in time. I was just about to check it. I don't know why I can't see it over there. If you'd think that if anyone needs to see it, it's the streamer needs to see it in the studio, not so much the public, but there it is. So today, yeah, we're just going to kick back for a little whiles. We definitely won't be streaming for the 5 hours and 40 minutes that we did yesterday. In fact, I'll probably cap this at an hour and a half or so. We just got some tabses out the wazoo we didn't get to yesterday. We sort of deviated from that. The tabses are breaking news. Las Vegas sheriff announces the arrest in the fire attack on the Tesla dealership. That'll be interesting. Kristi Noem sends chilling warning to criminal aliens from inside El Salvadorian prison. Tesla arson suspect faces federal charges, zero tolerance. And then if we get time, TB. That's the plan, though, just to kick back. Probably have a coffee, not a Jack today. Coffee, maybe, yeah. New bottle behind me, new Jack behind me. Can anybody guess what that bottle is? It's going to be there for 10. It's be there for a little while. I'm feeling really sore, like super sore in my neck. I went surfing today, and you'll see it in the clip, but it was a lot of paddling today. You don't notice it, or you might not notice it in the clip itself, but let me tell you, it's a paddle-a-thon. It was just paddle, paddle, paddle to stay on the break there in the lineup. I got a few waves, and I got one that took me sort of all the way down the beach, and then I had to I got a cramp in my calf. It sucked. So then I was like, shit, do I even fight this and try to get back out? My leg was cramped up. It was a real hard paddle. I was trying to paddle with one leg bent up so that the cramp would go away. And then, of course, every time the duck dive had to happen, it was like, ended up getting back out. And surprisingly, I paddled straight back to the lineup, which was quite a far paddle. But I got a wave immediately. And I was like, okay, I'm done. That was like four different circuits of the 4 waves, 4 paddles. One, that was it. I couldn't do any more. I took a real heavy duck dive. So a pretty big. So where we were sitting, there was a bunch of dudes out too. It was good conditions, and there was a bunch of crew up. This is at Tilbury Cove. Everywhere else is too big and blown out. The other ends of the beach and just off the front here, it's just disgustingly big and smashing everywhere. But up there, it was a little bit wraparound, a bit quieter, and sort of shaded from the wind and the rain. Although my solo shot did get wet and fogged up, so that's a little lame. But that happens from time to time. I'll just dry it out. Just the lens barrel gets a bit foggy when there's rain and then the sun comes out. Anyway, condensation. Anyway, there was a point where we were all sitting waiting for the set waves, and then of course there's an almighty mama, and it's like, oh shit. And everybody starts paddling out for it to get over, or to get it, or to get over it. And I was inside. I was waiting on the inside for little sneaky ones. And so I had further to paddle, and I realized I wasn't going to make it over it. So I paddled and paddled and paddled. And then at the last second, I did the deepest duck dive I could do. And I just got pounded. Like absolutely just, it was like an explosion above me. Everything just, what happened? I remember going upside down, got knocked off my board immediately, grabbed the board under my arm, just all kinds of like windmill and washing machine and just everything. You don't know which way is up. You're under the water. And I was told, where did I learn this? Either someone told me or I saw it on a video, but it might have been a Nathan Florence. No, that's John Florence. Is they brothers? Hang on a second. Nathan Florence, right? Give me. Oh, that wasn't. I'm going to bring up ChatGPT anyway. Anyway, I was watching this video where he was saying that if you get caught on if you get held down, the best thing to do is hold on to your first of all, don't. People will often throw their board away and just like pencil drop, but it's better to duck dive, to try the duck dive. This is how I think anyway. It's better to try the duck dive, and if you get smashed around, at least your arms will be around the board. Because if you get separated from your board and your leash is whatever, maybe your leg rope snaps as well, but who knows? But either way, you've then got to pull yourself back to the board to get it. Yo. There lies the joy. Thank you for the follow. Didn't see the name, but thank you. So if you do duck dive, at least you've got your arms around the board, and so when you get smashed all over, you can hold onto the board. And what they were saying was, when you kind of like recover and you're still under the water, because it's all the white water's holding you down, and it's all happening so fast. It probably takes like 3 or 4 seconds, but it holds you down. They said the message was clear to angle your board like that, because a surfboard's very buoyant, but if it's flat to and you don't know where the surface is, but if it's flat to the surface, it'll take its time to wobble its way up, but a board like that will just rocket straight to the surface. So I'm under the water and I'm holding onto my board and I angle it like that, what I think is up, and sure enough, the board just like jack rockets to the surface, and I get a big I get a chance at a big breath, and then of course you look toward, you don't know which way is which, and you're like, shit, oh, that's the way I got to paddle. And of course you turn around and look, and there's another white wall. By that time, the next wave is on you as well. So there was like, here we go, just get ready. So I just held on and just got smashed. My GoPro got pushed all the way down, and yeah, it wasn't fun. And my neck and my elbows and the shoulder blades up here like that on both sides, right where that hole in my shirt is, that shit is just on fire right now. Just a big workout, but it was worth it. It's worth it to get those good waves. I am wearing the wetsuit again, and I don't know if, I think I told you guys, the wetsuit's too small for me. I bought the correct size from Project Blank. I've bought their wetsuits before, and I bought the same one again, and it's way too small. Like it's not way too small. I get it. I can fit it. It fits on. I can get into it, but it's very restrictive. And plus, that's the second surf I've had since the summer where I wasn't wearing a wetty. I was wearing a spring suit, and I was wearing board shorts for a while. So now I'm lugging around all this extra weight on this wetsuit, and I've got restricted mobility, and I hadn't surfed before yesterday, I hadn't surfed in 20 days. So there's all these things out, and it was heavy out there. And so I was like, all those things add up to, you suck. You need to wear a better wetsuit. You need to go surfing more often. And you need to charge it. I was a little bit apprehensive out there today. I still gunned it. I still went for it. There was one wave, you'll see it. There's a left that I could have just grabbed the rail and plowed into there's a closeout barrel. I could have just plowed into it, but instead I just kind of jacked it back out and got out of there. And it's probably safer to just plow into that closeout barrel section. And I kicked myself for that, but still great fun, and really enjoying it. And if you can get days like that where the waves are good, it's just exciting. It's more exciting because there's more people stoked out there getting fun. There was a photographer out there. Apparently, she got some shots of me. I haven't seen them yet. Good fun times surfboard riding. I was going to show you which. I'm showing you my armpit, but that's the wetsuit, just too small, rubbing against my armpit there on both sides. One's not as bad as the other. I can't even see that. This one, the wetsuit just rubs in that gap there and generates friction. It's just too tight. But the way I'm thinking is a wetsuit, from the day you buy it, they're never the same. They're always progressively getting looser and sloppier and less watertight. So I just figure I'll just wear this one through, and it'll eventually become looser and more comfortable. Wearing it in. The woes, the joys, the woes. It's very quiet in here right now. What's going on? How come it's so quiet? Am I not entertaining? Am I not doing the thing? I'll go and get a coffee then, I guess. I'll show you the clip. I'll show you the surfing clip. How about that? You can enjoy this clip from today. I'll be back with a coffee, and then we'll get into Linky Poos, the breaking news. Las Vegas authorities announce arrest of suspect in fires at Tesla service center. Surfboard for riding first. Hey, Flowski. How you doing, man? Excuse me, I just shoved the cookie down my throat. Looks like you had some good long runs today, or whatever they're called in surfer term, just called waves. Yeah, there was I mean, nice sandbanks up there at the moment, and just the way the waves were wrapping around the headland, it just presented a nice longish right, if you can get it. Yeah. Typically off the front here, it's a bit more hit and miss. You might get one bank that has maybe one or two turns and then it just drops off. But I really shouldn't have eaten that cookie, but I was a bit hungry. How you doing, man? Let's move on. Breaking news. The Las Vegas sheriff announces arrest in fire attacks on Tesla dealership. Let's see what's all this about. Play skis. Oh, the audio's only in one channel. Bob.
All right, you guys ready?
Okay, right. That's not me, by the way. That's the audio of this video is only in one channel. You went on a nice hike. Oh wow, dude, that's sick. Love a good hike. Hell yeah. Nice, man.
Good morning. I'm Sheriff Kevin McMahill with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. With me today is Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Spencer Evans, and Assistant Sheriff Dory Korn with the LVMPD Homeland Security and Investigative Services. They'll be two of the individuals speaking. The rest of the individuals up here are also the command team that helped lead through this investigation over the course of the last week. And I'm here to provide you a significant update on the Tesla attack that took place early last week. This event involved an attack on the Tesla Collision and Sales Center on Tuesday, March 18th at approximately 02:45. The suspect used a firearm and Molotov cocktails to damage the center and destroy multiple vehicles that were parked on site. You'll see to my...
Again, my take on this, this goes for 24 minutes. If you key a Tesla, if you smash a Tesla because you don't agree with Elon Musk, you're a dum-dum. You're only hurting your fellow American.
Left some of that video that was taken from that night. On the screen next to me is also what I want to highlight to each one of you is the very little information that my investigators and FBI agents had to work with from the initial aspect of this investigation. There's a grainy photograph of the suspect's vehicle, a nearly indescribable photo of the suspect himself, and a couple of photographs of headlights and taillights of the vehicle. That's what my investigators had to go on a week ago.
Wow,
Part of the story that you're going to hear is how we arrived at our suspect being taken into custody with such little information.
They're looking for a really low, grainy image of a person. They're like, nah, too much resolution on that person.
Incredible work by everybody involved. And despite that minimal information at the onset, and thanks to the hard work and collaborative effort by the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, the LVMPD Counterterrorism Section, and all of our Fusion Center partners, we were able to identify and arrest the suspect involved in this attack. There's a couple social media photos that that have been circulated out there.
Flowski, if the footage sucks, it was likely an alien or a Bigfoot involved. Yeah, it's definitely a UFO. If it's grainy, old, sketchy footage that doesn't look like it's from today, it's got to be something to do with the UFOs and shit. They can never get clean footage of that, can you? No.
Already, the suspect's name is Paul Kim, K-I-M.
Yo, Netsky, how you doing, man?
Male adult, and he is 36 years of age. I'm going to transition now.
And he is a giant douchebag. They should say this stuff, man. The police and the news, they should call these people who they are. His name is Peter so-and-so, and he is a giant douchebag.
To Assistant Sheriff Dory Korn to explain to you exactly what happened over the course of this last week. Sheriff Korn.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. I'm Assistant Sheriff Dory Korn at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I oversee our Homeland Security and Investigative Services group, which includes our counterterrorism.
Hey, Blueskis. How you doing, Blueskis? Over on the YouTube machine. Neskis, I'm good. Had to get to bed last night. Missed the end of the show. I was saying, just for those that weren't here yesterday, we had a very long, or 5.5 hour long stream. Great conversation Comptech called in, then Daleski called in, and then Suki also called in. So we haven't had that on a panel for a while. And yeah, we got talking about all kinds of shit. It went on forever and ever. Unfortunately, the VOD of it from YouTube has been dinged multiple times. I'm not 100% certain. And when I say dinged, I just mean it's not suitable for advertising. So it hasn't been copyright struck. I chose my words incorrectly there. It's been, I've unlisted it until we get this suitable for advertising. But I think, this is my speculation, I think the reason it's not suitable for advertising is because Dale chose a handle. You know how he doesn't have a camera, he just has blue static. His handle was, "I still fucking hate you, bro." And so I feel like that might have tripped up YouTube and they don't like that. So I don't know, we'll see. But right now you can't go and watch the VOD on YouTube. You can go and watch it on wherever VODs are stored, on DLive and Kick and Twitch and all that stuff. But I will once I've resolved that, I will make sure that the VOD's available, and I'll put timestamp links in it so you can just click in the description to go to the spots. But it was fun. And for me, it was two things. It was me getting my tech in order for my idea that I ran. I've got this idea for my channel coming up in August this year. I want to start this process. I even got a name for it now too. I think I'm going to call it Talk. Welcome back to the Talk podcast, where I talk to you and you talk to me. That's the idea anyway. But anyway, I needed to make sure that the call-in stuff works flawlessly. And yeah, I think we narrowed that down and we got it working very, very well. All the audio is tweakable and everything. It seems to work, I mean, very well. Video Ninja is the go-to for that, for sure. I even put a question in the Discord saying just a little thing that could make it even better. If a guest chooses not to use a camera, can the software animate their avatar as they talk? Because for the viewer, if you've got a panel of say 4 people and 2 of them don't have a camera, it's hard to tell unless you know the person, which most of the crew here do know each other. But if you're just a casual viewer and you hear audio and you just see a static placeholder with a handle on it, you can't tell who's talking. When it's me and Comptech or Suki, me and Suki, we both had our cameras out, so when we talk, our mouth moves, you can say that's the person talking. But for an avatar, it needs to have a waveform that moves pulses with their voice. In the green room, I see a waveform on their mic, so I can identify the audio is good. Maybe that waveform needs to also be visual on the stream. That would make sense. They hate curse words throughout every frame of it. Yeah, dude, and it's on the screen the whole time. I still fucking hate you, bro. It's pretty funny. I like it, Blue Skis. Thank you. Netskis, Star Trek The Cage was the first show of the original series. Oh, I can't remember that. I can't remember that specific episode, The Cage. But I am really enjoying Star Trek. Really enjoying it. And for those that, I might as well just pause this Las Vegas thing. But for those that didn't hear, the idea I've got for my channel, because in August, late August, I celebrate 2 milestones. I turn 50, shit, and my channel turns 10. So my channel will be 10 years old. My Gives a Minute channel. Mainly I'm referring to YouTube here, but the concept of Gives a Minute began on YouTube, and it's 10 years. So and we all know that my channel is kind of dead, right? Like it gets, every now and then I get a video that does pop, but the glory days of, somewhat of a viral, I don't know, I don't want to say viral hit, but you know what I'm saying? Like those days are gone. And so look, I'm relaxed about that, and I've dealt with it. I've accepted it. I got a part-time job to make up the loss. It's not a big deal. But, of course, I'd still like to do whatever I can to potentially pop this channel off and get some numbers, right? That's why I was so stoked with the H3 podcast into that sort of interjection, or that little slice of happiness. That was good, like getting viewers on my channel, getting new numbers, getting bigger numbers, blah, blah, blah. That's all cool. So what could I do that would give my channel a bit of a swift kick up the arse? Well, I thought, why don't we do an interview once a week, minimum, maybe even more, but let's start with once a week, where the the guest or the person I'm interviewing or the person interviewing me, doesn't have to be me, it's just a conversation. The person in question is recommended by the previous person. So picture this, it's August, my birthday celebrations, we've finished all that. It's now September. I say, okay, so on Monday, I'm going to have an interview with someone. The first person will be someone in our crew, and we've already last night we decided that'd be the H-man, Hendrik. So we sit down and we have a good old yarn, me and Hendrik, about whatever's on his mind, whatever, like we do anyway, conversations. But then before I let Hendrik go, he has to provide me with the potential next guest. So there has to be a connection. It can be something as subliminal as, well, I watch this channel and I think you would love to have a conversation with him. It doesn't have to be I know the person or I worked with them or they wear the same socks as me. Nothing like that. But it's just, there has to be a joining or a jumping off point from the previous guest. And the idea of it is that wouldn't it be interesting to see where that journey takes me throughout the course of a year, 52 interviews? Do we wind up on big shows? Do I wind up interviewing, heaven forbid, do I wind up on the Joe Rogan podcast? This is a stretch, right? A huge stretch, but the concept is solid. I'm not suggesting, and no one clip me and get this out of context, I'm not suggesting I'm going to be on the Joe Rogan podcast. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if we start a journey and it layers upon itself, it's going to take, that journey is going to take itself in all manner of, it can go anywhere, right? Like anywhere on YouTube, there'll be a creator that be like, wow. And what I'll do is when Hendrik suggests this person, I'll spend my streams throughout the week researching their channel. We'll sit down together and watch their content. We'll first of all subscribe to their content. We'll watch all their stuff. We'll get a good feeling for them. So then on the weekend we can have the interview. It's like, oh, I saw that you were involved in underwater bookbinding or whatever it is, and then we can talk about that. And then at the end of that interview, the guest will know, of course, that they've got to recommend someone. They might say, oh, we talked a little about the underwater bookbinding. Well, I got an uncle of mine who engages in barnacle removal from seagoing vessels, and that would be an interesting conversation. You're damn straight they would. What's the channel? Okay, we look it up. Off we go. We go on this next path. The idea with that is selfish. The concept is that it will bring the viewers of those channels to my channel and my viewers to their channel. So it's a broadening of the reach and the scope, and maybe, just maybe, that'll trip the YouTube algorithm to recognize that this channel Gives a Minute is now going out of his pocket. So he's not just stuck in the little, and I'm not, nothing against you folk that are here on the regular. Hell yeah, that's my audience, that's my crew. You guys are the givers. But if it branches out, YouTube starts to recognize that, and maybe we get more eyes on, we get more promotion, we get more help. That's the thing. That's the idea. And I think, yeah, I was messing around last night with what I could call it. I think I should just call it Talk. Welcome back to Talk, the podcast where I talk to you and you talk to me. It doesn't get any simpler than that, right? Netskis, I have all the episodes. Going to stream them this week. You're going to stream the episodes of Star Trek? Be careful, man. Well, actually, is that still? It was in 66, 76, 86, 96. That's more than 40. You probably could stream that, right? That's outside the copyright rules. Netskis, apparently content specific is more important than follows. Content specific. Like you need to fill a specific need. Well, look. Okay, so you're right. What you just said is correct about YouTube. You need to fill a need for sure. There needs to be. If you want virality and if you want a channel that's going to grow exponentially, you need to go where what's the saying? You need to skate where the puck is headed. So you need to be relevant. However, to counteract that, I always thought YouTube was about me. In this case, not all of it me, but you know what I'm saying? YouTube, it's you. You broadcast you. That's what it was. Like you, now everybody can be a star, right? Everybody can be an actor. You create the channel. You do the director of photography. You do all the editing. You do all the acting. You do all the script writing. It's you. It's you doing it. Now, that's how it began in like 2007, I think. That's how YouTube began. Somewhere along the track, it morphed and it became very financially lucrative, which is the first big change to happen, I guess. Anywhere you look in the early days, people weren't being monetized. It was just viral hits, but no one was making any money. And then they added this AdSense concept, and suddenly you could make money off of it. So people started, my Eunice, wow! Who did that? Yo, Joe. How you doing, Joe? Joe Canada. Thank you, man, for the ice cream on D-Live. My Eunice, wow! That's funny. I haven't done that for a while. Yeah, so the idea of then chasing those viral hits to earn money overtook YouTube, and people started creating content specifically for the virality and for the income. So therefore you almost lose what was so rad about it originally. And what was so rad about it, that anybody could do it and then get an audience. You know, in the early days, you put up a video of your cat and you'll get 4,000 subscribers. They're waiting for the next cat video. Nowadays, you put up a video of your cat, you'll be lucky to get 10 views. And if you put another video up, nobody cares. So I've resonated that with my channel. I made a very conscious decision not to change me. I still want to be me. I want to do YouTube. I saw other creators around me tailor, and they call this niching down. I saw in particular, Danny Black's a great example. He, instead of doing the vlogs and the things that made him happy, he went and did the tech stuff based upon, I'll review anything you send my way as long as I get paid. And for me, that's never what my channel was ever meant to be about. Never wanted that from my channel. Always wanted just to do cool shit and have an audience that will watch it. So you might look on my channel and go, but didn't you do reviews of snorkel masks and get paid? Of course I did. Do you think I searched for that though? That fell in my lap, dude. That came knocking at my door and said, take our money, do this. Of course I'm going to say yes. So the difference is changing your content for the sake of becoming viral and being something. That's not me. No chance. Doing what I already do and like slightly angling it or chopping the edges off, finessing it is probably a better term. Finessing it for the algorithm, I'm down to do that for sure. Dude, your resolution is insane. 1080-60. Joe, 1080-60. But it's good lights. I got good lights here. Flosky, I never heard the backstory of why that suddenly changed. They must have had a policy shift. Yeah, for sure, yeah. I miss that old days. Blueskis, me too, me too. I'm doing beach lives. You're doing beach live streams? Hell yeah, Blueskis. Go surfboarding. They just won't give you any partnership is all. Who gives a shit? Is that Kick are you talking about? Joe, what's your opinion on all the people uploading AI videos? Dude, thank you so much for asking. I've got a very strong opinion on this. And it actually is extremely relevant to what we just talked about. So YouTube is for you, right? It's you broadcast yourself, which is also a reason why I hate that all the late night television shows are also on YouTube. Like, why does Jimmy Kimmel need a YouTube channel? He has the production, he has the studio, he has the director of photography, he has the cameras, he has all the audience, the studio. You tell him he also needs YouTube? YouTube was for the people that don't have access to that, is what I looked at it as. Anyway, that's different because now we have AI, and so anybody can create anything and parade it off as being legitimately a creation that you did, like a human. Look at Jay Boston right now with his garbage podcast, absolute rubbish, right? But palming it off as if it's real. So I think there definitely should be a place on YouTube for AI content, but it should not be the same place as human content. If you're going to put AI content mixed in with human content, you're basically saying we're going to reward the person doing the least amount of work who happens to have bought the better software. We're going to reward them with the views and the AdSense, over a human who's trying to do the same thing and in the real sense. So yes, AI content should be on YouTube, but it should be very, very well defined, possibly in a separate site. YouTube.ai could be the go. And so that when you search YouTube, you don't get the AI content. You have to go to youtube.ai to get the AI content. And then they are not privy to the same AdSense structure that a human is. Because what's going to happen, let's be very clear about this. It's only going to get better. And it's only going to get better to the point where we don't even know what is AI. Right now in 2025, it's very obvious what's AI. Go to Jay Boston's shit, man. It's garbage, right? There's all these weird pauses where audio doesn't make any sense. It's obvious, right? So what happens when that gets really, really good and you don't know what you're watching is AI? And neither does the algorithm know that it's AI. And suddenly you can literally ask ChatGPT or any LLM to write me. Okay, so I want ChatGPT to search up the most viral YouTube video of last week. I want you to write a script that goes for 8 minutes so I can get the 2 ad rolls in it. I want it to be aimed at, and you go to Google AdSense and you look at the most search terms. I want it to be aimed at this, this, and this. And then I want this to guarantee to trip the algorithm. Where's the creativity in that at that point? Like it's just a matter of what you've entered into the keyboard. Like you're not being creative. You're not broadcasting yourself. You're not being YouTube. You're just showing. If anything, it's just like that. Maybe that should be called TechTube, because you're just showcasing tech has become so amazing. Look what it can do. But also look what the humans can do, because they're still doing it. Yo, Hendrik, how you doing, man? Hello. But yeah, so as it stands right now in 2025, it's a crying shame that YouTube doesn't see that, and they're just filtering, or they're not filtering, they're just sliding this AI slop into the search algorithm. You search up something to do with something current, and you get this AI robot telling you about it, and it tricks you. Like you can't tell for the first 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden you can spot what it is, and it's like, really? I just wasted my time and gave them the view, like over an actual creator. It's fucked. Hey, it's fucked up. No, DLive. What are you saying, DLive? Netsky says DLive. What did Netsky say? They won't give any partnership is all, and who gives a shit? DLive don't give out partnerships anymore. Okay, well I got I'm still a partner there. Happy times. Flosky, those AI videos are trash. Lately, AI has been pointing me to AI videos instead of giving answers. I just say, nope, give me a written answer. You mean ChatGPTs and LLMs have been pointing you that way? I mean, look, it's wonderful. Like, it's incredibly cool what we've got. But should that be part of YouTube? Definitely not. YouTube needs to go back in time, right? Needs to go back to its roots and realize what it actually is. It's a platform where anybody with a cell phone or a handycam back in the day, like a Sony TRV 900, can just shoot a video and upload it and get views. That was the glory of it. That was the psych of it. That was like, this is rad. And I got onto it late. I got onto it 10 years ago, or nearly 10 years ago, and that's too late, right? But I'd already been shooting videos. I'd already made vlogs. I pointed the camera at my head in the 1990s. Thank you, skateboarding. Skateboarding was the catalyst for self-filming, right? Like that's the reason we owned video cameras, for skateboarding. But I never knew when someone, what was I watching? Someone showed me a video on YouTube. It was the Casey Neistat bike lanes video, and it blew me away. I was like, holy shit, you can make money doing this? This is a thing? Because when I'd watched YouTube, I used to watch a photography company from Adorama Pics. I used to watch that channel. And I used to watch Cord Cutters, which was a very early tech geeky podcast, specifically about cutting terrestrial television and using Roku boxes and Apple TVs. And then before that, it was just cat videos. And some of the stuff I might have stumbled upon some Shane Dawson stuff. Myself and an ex-partner, we just scoffed at it and we're like, this is fucking stupid. What's this shit? And we just turn it straight off. We used to have things called YouTube offs. Me and this partner, we used to like get some brews and some Jack and whatever we're drinking and sit down, and we'd each get the remote control on the TV and be able to line up 10 different videos, and then we'd each watch each other's videos and have a good time, drink and party. But then I saw bike lanes and I was like, what the hell? This is a thing that you can actually like sustain an income from. Then I researched who Casey Neistat was and I was like, okay, that's the litmus. That's pretty high. Joe, AI videos are a good reflection of the state of the AI right now. Often the AI videos do not even reflect the content in the video title. I mean, that's a thing. They should be snapping down on that, right? TechTube should be a thing anyway. Right on, TechTube. 100% it's bad and it devalues the content that humans put hard work into, Joe. Right on, because like what happens when it gets so good that like I said, there's no way to tell. Me, humans are never going to win that. They're like, wait, okay. Take this full circle. If YouTube don't do what I suggested, if they don't separate the AI schmuck from actual content, what happens when an AI channel overtakes, what's the Indian channel? The biggest channel on YouTube? It's not PewDiePie anymore. It's that Indian channel called Hey Siri, what's the biggest channel on YouTube?
Sorry, I couldn't do that.
AI from that's always been dumb, but she's gotten dumber over the years. I know it. It's on the top. You know what I mean. There's this Indian YouTube channel that has like a production warehouse and they shoot some Bollywood stuff and they get more view. So what happens when an AI generated channel surpasses PewDiePie and that channel, and they take the rankings? I can guarantee at that point, even not right there, but maybe before it happens, YouTube will change, right? Right now, YouTube doesn't give a shit because they're just pumping ads through it, right? They're earning off of this. So they're like making bank. They don't care. But as soon as enough people like myself and like you guys in the chat, as soon as enough of us say more and more about it, and then when a channel pops off and starts climbing the ranks of an AI, that's when they're going to have to do something. Yo, Dugsky, how you doing, man? They won't even give me affiliate, Netskis. Are you grinding for affiliate on DLive? Why? Just saying, why are you doing that? Flesky, I don't mind if AI points me to a real person with a great video, but not AI videos with garbage TTS. Yuck. Yep. I mean, you want to see... Look. Check this shit out, dudes. Check this out. Where am I? Hold on a second. Go to YouTube machine. We'll get back to our videos in a moment, but let's go to the Creative and Code podcast with Jay Boston. This will tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Creative and Code. Is that how he does it, or is it ampersand? Oh, I think he does it ampersand. Oh, Jay. Your channel's hard to find, dude. Maybe if I search Jay Boston, it'll still come up. Did he take his channel down? Did he take his channel down? Jay Boston Vlogs? Maybe he saw the light of day and got rid of that shit. Pusa Studios. I'm tired of Jay Boston. I was tired of him 4 years ago. I was tired of him 4 years ago. Where is his channel? Has he taken his channel down? There he is, Jay Boston's response video. Jay Boston has lost his MacBook. What? Dude, he might have taken his channel down. It was called Creative Code, right? Creative Code. Is it just Creative Code or Creative and Code? Creative Code podcast. There it is. Oh, he's got a Creative Plus code. Okay. Take a look at this. We'll just take one at random. Oh, we'll go to the channel so you can see it. Stop that. Stop that. So here's the channel. 2 weeks ago, 9 days ago. Okay, just watch this. Tell me. Okay, in the chat, tell me when you realize this is AI. We'll skip the intro.
My name's Jay, and today we're talking about why stage deliverables and sign-offs are good for both agency and client. So let me take you back to a project I once worked on. We were building a brand new website for a client. Big scope, big vision, big expectations. We went weeks crafting the perfect homepage design, putting in all the creative magic we had. When we presented it expecting a round of applause, the client looked at it for a solid 10 seconds and said,
The client did what? The client looked at it. Do you get that? I mean, that's obviously where you find it, right? Where you see
page design, putting in all the creative magic we had. When we presented it expecting a round of applause, the client looked at it for a solid 10 seconds and said, yeah, not sure. Can we start over? Now, if you've ever worked in a digital agency, you've felt that in your soul, starting over from scratch after all the work, it was like spending months training for a marathon, reaching the final stretch, and then being told, actually, we'd prefer if you ran it backwards, barefoot, while juggling. And this, dear listeners, is why today's topic is so important. Stage deliverables and sign-offs aren't just nice to haves. They're the secret to keeping both agencies and clients sane.
Sane.
Today,
Flosky, is that his own voice? So what he's obviously done here, yes, that is his voice. What he's done is he's taken an AI LLM and he's trained it on his voice. And then if I know Jay, he's cut it even further. He's cut the corners even further. So instead of him writing a script, instead of him sitting down and typing up from his mind what I want to say, he's probably just gone to ChatGPT and said, ChatGPT, write me an 8-minute, 15-second script for a YouTube video about why stage deliverables and sign-offs are good for both agency and client. And then he's just told the AI bot to read that out. Like, it's so lazy and lame. And by the way, it sounds like that sounds good, right? It sounds like his voice, but there are clear glitches where it's like, dude, that's not you. Like, it's almost worse in this case because he's pretending it's him. Whereas if he presented it with like Morgan Freeman's voice, we'd all know it's not Morgan Freeman, and we'd just be like, okay, cool, it's AI. But he's trying to palm it off as if it's him. It's lying, basically. It's lying on YouTube, and YouTube's allowing it. It's crazy. Do you have some expertise that AI can't do? Me? AI can do, if it's on the internet, AI can do it and do it better than anybody. Not nearly as bad as some I've heard, a little dull. Let's keep going, and you'll hear it again where it comes up as obviously a glitch.
we're diving into why breaking projects into stage milestones.
We're diving into why breaking projects into and by the way, Jay, if you happen to watch this, you could correct this. It would take you probably half an hour to listen back to it and then just crop those little fuck ups out. But Jay is so fucking lazy, he won't even proof his own shit. He'll just upload. You know what I reckon he does? I reckon he's got an AI that does all of this, including the upload to the channel and the thumbnail and the description. I reckon Jay just sits back and goes, press the almighty start button on the script, on the process, and it does everything for him. That would not surprise me at all.
So today, we're diving into why
Today,
sign-offs aren't just nice to haves. They're the secret to keeping both agencies and clients sane. So today, we're diving into why breaking projects into stage milestones is a game changer.
so dumb.
Why Big Bang project reveals almost always lead to disaster.
Imagine
And how to create a collaborative, structured design sign-off.
It's worse than that, because Jay has a digital agency, right? His gig, his thing. It's his agent. He's the owner, right? He's the head. It's his thing. He invented it. He created it. He's had it for over 10 years. His job is in the digital sphere. Imagine sending your potential clients to this podcast saying, "Hey, folks, you're thinking of working with Creative and Code? Here's our podcast. Go and have a look what we do." That would be like sending That'd be like sending a photographer to a website where you've got like shitty iPhone pictures from 1994 instead of your best work. Like you cannot use this as presenting your best work. It's fraudulent. It's, by the way, it's first of all, it's not even you, but it's pretending to be you. So it's deceptive. And by the way, after that, it's obviously faked. And anybody, including like any human, anyone that's learned how to speak knows this is not how you speak. So it stands out like dog's balls. Like it's right in your face. Captain Kirk pauses right on Flowski. Dougski, who would listen to this anyway? If you wanted to know, couldn't you just ask ChatGPT yourself? I mean, that's true. That's true. You could probably bring up the exact same spiel if you just keyed the right command into ChatGPT, for sure. Yeah. The fact that he uses this to promote his agency it's unbelievable. Look at the I mean, look, this is ChatGPT. Want to learn more? Check out our agency. So this is his digital agency, ID Digital, leading website design agency in Melbourne, delivering data-driven digital experience for Australian top brands. That's ID Digital. I mean, everything presents very well here. It looks wonderful. Would you allow a LLM to control your podcast to the extreme that Jay does without proofing it? Like the simplest proof of that he'd be able to fix it. But the thing is, he's just lazy. He won't. And I don't want to make this so specific about Jay, but this is more about AI. If that's allowed, if that's legal to represent yourself in a phony manner and you can monetize it, then YouTube really needs to sit down and go, how do we deal with this head on? Because it's only going to get worse. In Jay's instance, it's even worse than what it looks because he morphed an existing channel for that content. So he had a channel that was, again, fraudulent. He stole content, stole ideas he jumped on the bandwagon from other people's content and just redid his own version of it. So he was already fraudulent, but he built up a sub base of around 60,000. And then at one point, I'm going to assume he just unlisted. I don't think he would have deleted, but he just changed his channel from, was it Jay Boston Vlogs, right? Yeah, or it might have just been Jay Boston. He just changed it to Creative and Code Podcast, and he deleted, or he just removed all those videos and just put up these podcasts. So imagine, and changed the banner and everything. Imagine you're on your favorite channel. Imagine we're watching the H3 podcast, right? We love the show, we watch it, and then one day we just go to the channel at random, and it's now called Bluebirds and Grasses, and it's a channel specifically about farming pasture lands. You're like, and the same, like, all the subscribers that are there are like, what the fuck's going on with this? What happened to the podcast? What happened to the H3? What are we watching? That's exactly what Jay did. He just went, what, big 180. Now we're going to do AI content delivered by an AI bot. It's like, fucking, you did what? So it's completely fraudulent, right? Like, yeah, you're dumb to do that, because you'd be better off leaving the Jay Boston existing channel and just starting a new channel called Creative and Code and start uploading. Like, you'd get the same views. Like, look at the view counts here. He's still got the 59,000 subscribers, 21 views, 21 views out of 60,000 subs, and you get 29 views. I mean, I thought my shit was lame, but that's lame, right? 59,000 subscribers, 51 videos, 22 views, 24 views, 37 views, 49 views, 50 views. Like, you'd get more views on a fresh channel with that content, guaranteed, instead of just sacrificing an existing channel. Lame. So lame. And so that's why, to answer the question from way back, that's my take on AI. There is a place for it, but it shouldn't be in the place of humans. The humans and the AI can exist together, but they should be on different playing terms. 100%. Now, where were we on this breaking news story? The Las Vegas authorities announce arrest of suspects in the fire at Tesla service centers.
I have the opportunity.
And
here
apologies for this, folks. It's only in one channel. It's not me. This video is only in one channel. Audio. Excuse me.
By the details of the investigation, but there's no doubt this was a collaborative effort involving multiple agencies, numerous, actually hundreds of personnel that have been involved. Some of the key people, to include folks that are standing back here, like Lieutenant Rick Myers, who oversees our counterterrorism section, were instrumental. And because of all of their hard work, we were able to quickly identify and apprehend the Tesla firebombing suspect in record-breaking time. Based on the updated evidence that we have, we now have a better understanding, a more comprehensive understanding of what actually happened. And I'm going to provide some details as we walk through a little bit of a timeline on what occurred and then what we know about the suspect now. So we'll begin with just talking about how the suspect arrived. He arrived east of the location in a vehicle, showed up in a black sedan just parked east of the Tesla Collision Center. You can see on this video clip here, we highlighted the area because it's at the top of your screen, and you'll be able to see the arrival of the vehicle. You'll be able to see that the vehicle comes in, originally driving westbound where you can see the headlights, and then turns around where you can see the taillights, and he reverses back into where he parks. The suspect then proceeded.
By the way, what do you reckon this guy gets? What's this guy's sentence? What do you reckon he gets? He's going to do jail time, surely, right?
On foot and approaches the corner of the building. As you've seen before, and as
I personally think everyone that's keying Teslas should do jail time and community service.
Probably heard, and certainly as we're showing today, he attempted to mask his identity by wearing black attire, concealing his face, and wearing gloves. The suspect then began shooting the surveillance cameras with what appeared to be a rifle. You can see an image here of the suspect pointing the rifle towards a camera. At least 2 surveillance cameras were damaged by gunfire. And then upon shooting the cameras, the suspect proceeded to the front doors of the Tesla, and he began spray painting the words "resist" across the doors. I'll let this video play because you'll get a better shot of the suspect. You can see his description
Giant
as he goes
douchebag
across the clear doors there, committing his act of crime.
Resist. Yeah, good resisting, dude. Resist getting locked up now for life.
Once he finishes spray painting the words "resist" on the doors, he then approaches multiple Tesla vehicles that were parked in the front of the center. He proceeded to shoot into each vehicle and used a Molotov cocktail to set the vehicles on fire. We'll play a few video clips here to kind of show you his behavior. You can see him right there in the dark clothing. He casually walks over to his first vehicle that's targeted. He will soon put down his backpack onto the ground. And then he transitions to the firearm. And you'll see him shoot into the vehicle. Once he shoots into the vehicle, he ends up going back.
Now, are these Teslas at a service center? So do they have Sentry mode on as well? Like, are they recording at the same time?
From the vehicle to the bag and then back to the car, presumably picking up his item that he used to be able to firebomb the vehicle. We believe that was a Molotov cocktail. And you'll see in a moment here, the vehicle will ignite and ultimately fully engulf, causing severe damage.
What an idiot.
The suspect then continues on to a second vehicle, and you can see here he's on to the second target. He'll do very similar behavior where he shoots into the vehicle, he goes into the backpack, retrieves an item.
What a coward too, like to try to disguise himself and get away with it. Like, I'm gonna make a big point about resisting Elon and all the different Doge situations by blowing up cars, but I'm gonna do it hidden. I'm not gonna show you who I am. You'd make more of an impact if you had to put your face to the camera and said, "Come and get me," you know, I'm ready to fight. What a big fucking coward.
And ultimately, you'll notice here that he ends up getting the second vehicle on fire as well.
That's the equivalent of this is like kicking you when you're down, right? Or punching you in the back of the head. Like, do it to the front of the person. Like, be like, stand behind stand behind your point.
From there, he then proceeds to his third vehicle, repeats the same type of activity. One of the incendiary devices he was not able to ignite, which is one of the devices that we were able to recover. But ultimately, 5 vehicles were damaged, to include 3 of which were fully destroyed. You can see images of the vehicles here.
Fuck. That'll buff right out.
And you'll see here a drone video. This is from our Skydio drone, being able to provide an overview of the damage as well.
He'll be a leftist liberal. They never like taking responsibility. Yeah, the same leftist liberals that were highlighting how rad Teslas were 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, you got to get a Tesla and save the environment, you know? Oh, by the way, Tesla bad now.
After this, the suspect then proceeds and flees east, gets in his vehicle, and leaves the area.
Gets in his gas guzzling vehicle and drives off down the highway, burning gas by the gallon. What a gentleman! The same ones right on Netsky's, yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, this case has been worked around the clock, and Sheriff McMahill and Special Agent in Charge Spencer Evans have made it a top priority for our organization and put a tremendous amount of workforce behind it to make sure that this was dealt with in a quick manner. Because of that, in 8 days around the clock with our teams, we were able to identify the suspect's vehicle.
Hey, by the way, I just had an idea. Why can't I just change this to mono audio in OBS? Fuck, hold on a second, dudes. Don't need any chat GPT to tell me that. Where are we? Firefox audio. Left and right. I'll just mono it. Easy, watch this. I'll just put it to mono.
It's a black Hyundai Elantra.
Perfect.
You'll see a photo here. But what's important to point out here is that this
Remind me to turn mono off, because when we finish this video, there might be stereo videos that have proper sound, but this fixes that.
was achieved through an exhaustive review of surveillance material, analytical data, and a canvas of over 700 locations across the valley, ultimately allowing us to piece together critical evidence with speed and precision. You can see on this image here, this is just one example of many where we're using the flock technologies to be able to identify the type of vehicle, including very specific features of the vehicle.
Yeah, it's a Tesla. He's driving a Tesla Model S. Wouldn't that be funny?
That build up into additional leads and ultimately get us to the point of identifying the suspect and his vehicle.
Wow.
As of now, a preliminary assessment.
He drives an Elantra hybrid. So he's not taking a stance against electric vehicles. He's taking a stance against the person who makes the electric vehicles. Because he drives a hybrid, right? So that's a half-half.
And we have a lot of data to go through and a lot of investigative work that needs to be followed up on. But a preliminary assessment of the suspect's social media activity indicates some very loose but self-proclaimed ties to the.
He looks like a cool guy. I mean, he looks pretty sweet. Like just your regular, probably the dude works up the street in like either tech or maybe he works in a pizza shop or something. He looks pretty cool, you know? Why you gotta be a fuckhead? Why can't you just be cool? Be what you look like, just a cool, probably a surfer, you know, like aloha, just chill out. Instead, you got to go around burning down Tesla's dealerships because you don't agree with Elon Musk, you idiot. Or is he so dumb he doesn't know the branding? Maybe.
Communist Party USA social media group, as well as social media groups called Revolutionary Communist International, Hidden Palestine, Palestine Action, and a variety of other social media groups. That is part of our investigation.
He looks kind of Mongo. Oh, well, I mean, whatever, but come on. Was he he was a park ranger, was he, Doug?
Is to dig further into it and to be able to determine additional motive and other potential concerns. At this point in time, the suspect was placed immediately on 24/7 surveillance by our specialized units to ensure public safety and preserve evidence. Additional evidence was collected as we continued our investigation, and the suspect was ultimately arrested yesterday evening.
Nice.
A search warrant was then obtained and served by the LVMPD SWAT team, which is by far one of the best, if not the best SWAT teams in the country. They were able to do that safely and quickly. And as a part of their operation, we were able to conduct searches of 2 vehicles linked to the suspect's apartment, and we were also able to collect a buccal swab for DNA to be able to compare that to the DNA that we recovered from the scene. Our searches revealed numerous items of interest to include multiple rifles, a shotgun, a handgun, and miscellaneous gun parts. You can see a photo to my left of some of the items.
Just saying he might have been someone who got dogged or doged. Right. I mean, there's obviously something. There's something about that, right? Yeah, for sure. He obviously hates Elon for some reason.
Items that were recovered. We also were able to recover ammunition in multiple calibers to include the caliber that was used in the crime. We also recovered numerous electronic devices, which our partners at the FBI are quickly analyzing. We also recovered a black gun belt with a pouch that had pink paint residue on it. You can see a photo of that to my left, as well as a black backpack with pink paint, face masks, and other articles of clothing that are consistent with the suspect's description. We also recovered other key pieces of evidence that we're still evaluating at this time that do connect the suspect to this attack. Finally, I will also say about the search warrants, we were able to do a buccal swab. We were able to, our lab did an amazing job quickly collecting that evidence and analyzing it.
It doesn't justify what was done. Of course it does not. No, it definitely does not.
Because they know how important this case is to our community. And ultimately, that DNA that was collected from our subject does match. It was a positive identification to the DNA that we collected on scene.
You've been caught, buddy. You're caught in glorious 144p. Not 4K. They didn't need 4K. They got him. They got him.
It's also worth noting, I'll just kind of conclude here by talking about the charges. So for now, at this point in time, he was charged with numerous felonies to include 3 counts of arson, 3rd degree, 3 counts of unlawful possession of explosive or incendiary device, 4 counts of destroying property, and 5 counts of discharging a firearm into a vehicle or structure. The suspect remains in custody, and we're working closely with the Clark County District Attorney's Office and the United States Attorney's Office on the prosecution.
He'll get 20 years for that, surely. It'll be 20 years minimum, right?
I do want to transition to our federal partners, and I'll just emphasize this. I said this last time, which is our partnership is second to none. And it goes with all of our partners that we have, the Fusion Center, but particularly with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the special agent in charge that's here. We've had a remarkable relationship, and this has proven true in this case as well. We've worked hand in hand on all of these cases and on this case as well, and we have a tremendous amount of resources behind it because of the sheriff and the SAC being so committed on this case. So with that, I'll transition to FBI Special Agent in Charge, Spencer Evans.
Good morning. My name is Spencer Evans. I serve as the Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas Division. I'd like to just, reiterate what Assistant Sheriff Corin said. My appreciation that we have for the partnership with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. It's nothing short of exemplary. I've been in the FBI for almost 21 years. I've served around the country, and I can tell you the seamless collaboration you see to keep the community safe here in Southern Nevada is unparalleled. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, as you've heard, has been investigating this incident and working this case relentlessly since last Tuesday. I was just informed a few minutes ago a federal arrest warrant was issued for the subject, and we anticipate taking Paul Kim into federal custody later today, where he will face federal charges in addition to those announced by Sheriff McMahill this morning. The arrest announced today showcases the remarkable outcomes that are achievable through collaborative task force partnerships. Although each agency has distinct roles and responsibilities and capabilities, the fight against violent crime is a shared commitment, and that's certainly the case here in Las Vegas. Last week, when we held the press conference, I emphasized that we would leave no stone unturned to identify the person responsible and ensure accountability for these heinous attacks. I appreciate your assistance in amplifying this message through your media coverage. And one final cautionary message for individuals who are contemplating similar attacks. There's nothing courageous or noble about firebombing private property and terrorizing your local community. The self-righteous mob that's cheering you on today to commit acts of violence on their behalf will leave you high and dry and forget about you tomorrow. And
I love that they put this in. This kind of personal addition at the end of this. They need to do this more. These guys, it needs to be more human. This guy should say, and by the way, my take on this is, if you do this, you're a giant douchebag. And we all think that here of you. And the majority of the public think that you're a big dum-dum. They need to humiliate people. Like, it's okay just to present the facts and say he's going to get this, and this, he's going to serve this amount of time, and these are the charges. But then also give it the personal. Like, we're not robots. We need to. This is just so stupid. And they need to be made to feel stupid for what they've done.
At the end of the day, you and you alone will will be held responsible and face the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll turn it back over to Sheriff.
Yeah, I agree, Netskis. And the point, my point there is because that we all live on this planet. We're all humans. We've all got to interact. We've all got to use the human code, if you like. We've all got to use what we know as humans. And one of the things that we know, aside from like locking someone up for a thing done wrong, we also know that humiliation works, right? We know all these things about how your body responds and how people react to, you know, a pat on the back, a job well done, congratulations, you feel good for the rest of the day. So the same with humiliation. You humiliate someone publicly, like they used to do back in the old days, take them out to the town square and hang them up and flog them. I'm not suggesting it should be violent, like physical flogging, but like the shame in Game of Thrones, right? Like that kind of thing. Get back to primitive times and whip their asses.
So I'd like to just give some final comments here and reassure the public that there's no ongoing threat related to the suspect in this attack. That said, we are actively working alongside the FBI to determine if there's any links between this incident and others occurring across our great country.
I'm sure there are.
As a precaution, we will continue.
There'll be some Telegram group that they're all in, pumping info and like, where's our next attack going to be, blah, blah, blah.
Our increased security efforts around Tesla-related locations, and as always, there's going to be zero tolerance in our community for acts of violence. I also would like to just take a second and highlight this response is...
First thing we should also do is burn his car to the ground in front of him. Like, get him out into his carport and say, hey, check this, dude. Bomb. There goes your vehicle. Suck shit. How about that? You like that? We bombed your car, dude. Town square on a cross, bucket of rotten fruit and throw at him. Something like that, you know? Public shaming.
I believe our counterterrorism capabilities are among the best in the world. That's all because of the partnerships between LVMPD, the FBI, ATF, DHS, and our other law enforcement partners. It's unmatched, as you've already heard. We had 13 agencies representing over 250 investigators, analysts, and specialists working this investigation. This unified approach is a cornerstone of our ability to respond quickly and effectively, and has proven instrumental in this investigation. And the last part of this I want to talk about, as I show.
By the way, just a side note, as you're watching this, look at this dude on the right here, where my mouse is hovering. He's the kind of guy you do not want to fuck with, hey? Just watch his... I'll just go back about 30 seconds and just watch his facial expressions. He's like your school headmaster is like, even if you just look at him, you know you're in the wrong. Like, doesn't matter what you did. If you look at him, Mr. Johnson, whatever his name is, you're like, oh shit, what have I done? What did I do? Don't look at me like that, man. The time and the resources into this cost heaps. Yeah, I mean, that's what these associations are for, though, right? That's what their jobs are. But yeah, just entertain me and just look how this dude, frightening.
Response is, I believe our counterterrorism capabilities are among the best in the world. That's all because of the partnerships between LVMPD, the FBI, ATF, DHS.
That guy, this guy, you could just get a video of just crop him and just don't have anything saying. Just have him looking at you, and I might do that. I might edit that down and just have him looking around, and then no shit will happen if he's just there looking around. He looks frightening as shit. Check it when he eyeballs the camera.
There's going to be zero tolerance in our community.
Watch this guy.
For acts of violence. I also would like to just take a second and highlight this response is...
That look there.
I believe our counterterrorism capabilities are among the best in the world. That's all because of the partnerships between LVMPD, the FBI, ATF, DHS, and our other law enforcement partners. It's unmatched, as you've already heard. We had 13 agencies representing over 200.
You don't want to get on his wrong side. This look.
It's unmatched, as you've already heard.
That look right there. He's saying to you, I will fuck you up. I know what you did. He's a hard knuckle. Right on, right on.
We had 13 agencies representing over 250 investigators, analysts, and specialists working this investigation. This unified approach is a cornerstone of our ability to respond quickly and effectively, and has proven instrumental in this investigation. And the last part of this I want to talk about, as I showed you at the very beginning, we had nothing to go on. And quite frankly, it was crossed my mind that this might be one of those cases that we may not be able to solve.
But just back to that point, don't the Teslas have Sentry mode on all the time? Or they were at a dealer, right? That was a Tesla dealer to do not a factory outlet, but there was something that they were doing at that dealership. Like, was it either selling vehicles or was it like fitting parts to the vehicle or something? But so the Sentry mode only activates when you park it, not when it's long-term storage. I guess those car parking slots were like long-term storage. Because wouldn't there be footage? I mean, not from the burnt one. I guess that's the problem, isn't it? Does the Sentry mode store it in like a black box kind of hard drive space or something? I don't know.
And I've talked to so many of you here in our local media about my desire to become the most technologically advanced police department in the country.
You know what he's going to do now? He's going to announce that we're teaming up with Elon to work on this tech and get better surveillance and shit. Because all this is doing is fueling Elon to develop new tech to really fuck these guys up, right? His mind's tripping up. He's like, okay, we can do this. How can we do that? We can get these guys. We'll get them at their own game. Red Ox, how you doing, man? What's up, dudes?
This case is not solved without the use of technology. The speed and success of the solve of this case are a direct result of hard work by the police department and the special agents in charge, investigative specialists, and the analysts that all came together to work on this. But the technology is actually what helped solve this. In particular, I want to highlight a number of those technologies, which is our Flock license plate reader systems, which gave us our first clue. Our Skydio drone technology, our digital forensics lab, and all of
Skydio is a company that manufactures drones that were famous for the best tracking feature. So DJI drones and some of the other lesser known drones do have tracking and they work well, but Skydio made the greatest tracking drone ever and it worked flawlessly. And then they were commercially available, like you could buy them just off the shelf in America. And then Skydio pivoted and said, we're no longer making consumer drones. We're focusing all of our attention on the private sector. And they just went off the market and you couldn't buy Skydio. And that's what he just said. We had Skydio drones.
Our Skydio drone technology.
Nice.
Our digital forensics lab and all of the things that they do with cell phones and a number of other aspects of technology. The public safety cameras that we have deployed around our community. Our ability to go in and scrub social media through the tools that are provided with technology. Forensic analysis of DNA. Put the exclamation point on this case. His DNA matched what we took from the scene. And investigative genetic genealogy. I'd like to especially thank my Chief of Staff, Mike Gennaro, who's standing behind me here, who's been instrumental.
His name is Mike. You do not mess with Big Mike.
In identifying the needs of our organization for technology and helping us get it. And I'll wrap up before I take questions by simply saying thanks to all of you for taking the time to be here. And thank you again from me, Special Agent in Charge, to all of the folks that worked this case and from counterterrorism and law enforcement. They continue to work tirelessly on this case as we have a lot of things to continue to investigate to wrap up the loose ends. And it's a real testament to good old-fashioned police work that these men and women have done. So with that, I will take any questions. What I would ask of you, please identify who you are and who you're with, and then we'll go from there. Joe? The question is, what's the estimated cost of the damage? And I don't have that number in front of me, Joe.
Another question I had was, you found DNA at the scene, you see all over the place. What did you get?
We got DNA. The question is, where do we get the DNA from at the scene? We got the DNA in multiple different locations, but as far as where we got it from, I'm not gonna release that information as yet. Ma'am?
Hello,
Interesting.
Hi.
knowing that he has these different social media groups that he's part of, is there any belief that anybody else was part of this act, or are they encouraging people around the country to take part in these violent acts?
It's funny how they have these press conferences and it's 2025 and they still don't mic up the journalists. Like someone, just one person needs a boom mic in that room and just patch it in with a roving mic. Like we see these press conferences all the time. We just talked about Skydio drones and DNA sampling and all this great tech, and here we are at a press conference and they didn't mic up the questions? Come on, man.
Yeah, so the question is, with all the groups that he's using on social media, do we believe that he's connected to a larger aspect of this in coordination in other locations in the country? And the answer is we're absolutely actively investigating that connection now. I can't definitively tell you that. And as you know, I'm never going to give you guys any information unless we can.
He hurled a big spitball on the window. Did he spit on the window, did he? After he finished writing resist? That's the DNA? Right, well, there it is. The D stands for dummy, right? I'm covering my whole identity and I'm masking myself and I'm wearing black so you can't see me. Have some of my DNA. That won't help you at all. Oh!
We can positively be certain of the information as it's provided to you. Go ahead. One more.
Is it believed that anybody else was part of this specific incident locally, or is it believed to be active alone?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that part of your question. She's asked if anybody else was involved in this case locally, and as of now, the answer is we do not believe there's any other outstanding actors. We believe that this individual acted alone.
Are there any similarities that you've seen so far, like specific similarities that you've seen in other incidents around the country?
Spencer, you want to try to answer that one? Or? The question is there any similarities between incidents that are occurring across the nation with the one that we have here? And I think the answer is we're actively exploring those as well, but are there any other comments you want to add on that? No? Well, there's certainly some similarities that we're looking at in there. Behind you. Hi. There's five total that were damaged by the Molotov cocktails in the fire. The question was how many were there?
Commissioner Spencer Evans, Brian Cisnetsky with ABH now. Is there any idea what the federal charges could be?
The question is there any idea what the federal charges could be to the...
Check out Mike when they're asking the questions. He's giving the desk there, is he?
Commissioner Spencer Evans, Brian Cisnetsky with ABH now.
He just looks like he looks like your classic school principal where it's like, you know, they draw a cartoon character of a principal and it's that guy. Like, go to the principal's office and you're like dreading it just because you know that that's the dude that's going to look at you.
Any idea what the federal charges?
If looks could kill.
The question is there any idea what the federal charges could be to the FBI?
Yeah, so I'll defer to the U.S. Attorney's Office that I think is going to be issuing a press statement later. But as of last night, they were contemplating federal arson charges in possession of a destructive device.
I didn't call on you, Joe. I think the lady behind you had a question first, and then I'll get back to you.
No, Joe.
Same one. All right, we're back to you, Joe. Go ahead.
Get him out of there.
Tesla truck, and Tesla also, Elon Musk also has a boring company. First of all, I'm wondering if Metro's gotten any threats since the acceptance of that truck. Also, Las Vegas Club Project Fire has been worried about access to the boring tunnels. Metro, I've heard, is also worried about that. I wonder if there is worry about potential attacks or incidences within those tunnels. So two questions.
So it's a very long question that Joe asked. He asked if we're worried about or received any threats because of the Tesla truck donation to Metro. I think that's kind of what you asked me, and the answer is we have not received those Tesla trucks yet. They are still in production, and no, I'm not worried about any threats to those trucks. The second question was, there's also not only Tesla dealerships here, but there's also the boring tunnels that were done by Elon Musk. And are we worried about any safety or security threats to the boring tunnels? Is that accurate assessment? And we have been at a heightened level of security at all of those locations for the boring tunnel that are mostly along the Las Vegas Strip corridor as we speak. And we are continuing, Joe, to evaluate what the security posture looks like at all of those boring tunnel locations, and we'll continue.
It's like what I said
as we move forward. Last question.
It's like what I said the other day. Like, are they going to start ripping off Starlink satellite dishes from houses? Because Elon also has Starlink, and if you're resisting Elon, you know, that's a very easy thing to do. Go up to a house and just bend the fucking satellite off the roof, then chuck it in the lawn. Could do it easily, right? More easier than Molotov cocktail inside of a vehicle.
The question is, can we share where he was arrested, and was there any resistance? There was no resistance. We were able to take him into custody without any real challenge, and we located him as he was leaving one of his work locations, or what we think is one of his work locations. So we'll release additional information on that as we get it, and if there's significant updates in regards to this, we'll come back before you. Again, I'd like to say thank you to all of you who started yelling at me.
The Canadian government has dumped all Starlink contracts. There you go. Well, that's at a government level, but are they bombing? Are they torching them?
Hi.
Delve deeper into the investigative timeline, given that you had just a grainy surveillance pictures. At what point did the flock camera system pick up that license plate? And walk us through some of the 700 places that you guys ended up canvassing.
Yeah, the question is can we walk you a little bit more in depth through the investigative timeline? I'll let Assistant Sheriff Corn give you a little bit more detail on that, but this investigation is open and active, and so we're releasing what we believe we can release without compromising our investigation. But Dory, you can comment a little bit more.
Just to add a little bit of detail on the investigative process. So we used a variety of technologies. We featured one today that was instrumental, which you just mentioned, which is our the flock safety cameras. However, there's a variety of technologies that have been used on this case, as the sheriff mentioned earlier, everything from drone technologies to our social media research tools, our public safety camera network, and our Fusion Watch unit that works 24/7. All of that played a role into it. Ultimately, we talked about over 700 locations that were canvassed. And that is actually a testament of the public wanting to help us in solving this case, because these are private businesses or residences where they're willing to come forward and provide information, sometimes video information, sometimes other types of evidence. But the groundwork that was done by our personnel to go out and make contact with these various locations, identify what information was valuable and relevant to the case and what was not, and ultimately collect that information was unbelievable. And because of all of that, we were really effective in solving this case. And just the last point I say is even something as simple as that video camera that was provided from us, it was actually a cell phone camera footage of the initial incident that was provided by a citizen, really touches on the point of when we talk about see some, say something, and people reporting to the police right away, can really make a case. So it was collectively everything together. But with that, I do apologize. We do have still a lot to go through, so we'll provide more information, as the sheriff said, during a later time. Thank you.
So that's been a few days since then. Here is a news report from a day ago. So we'll take this update here.
A preliminary assessment of the suspect.
Oh, wait. Before I do this, I'm going to change it back from stereo to mono, just because we don't need it to be mono. Firefox audio is monoed. We'll unmono it, and that should be better.
Social media activity indicates some very loose but self-proclaimed ties to the Communist Party USA social media group, as well as social media groups called Revolutionary Communist International, Hidden Palestine, Palestine Action, and a variety of other social media groups. That is part of our investigation.
Most notably, the Giant Douchebag Association.
Dig further into it and to be able to determine additional motive and other potential concerns.
The suspect accused of scorching Teslas with Molotov cocktails at a Las Vegas dealership now facing federal charges. Officials say the attack had some of the hallmarks of terrorism. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Assistant Sheriff Dory Corrin joins us now. I want to pull up this about charges against Paul Kim: arson, property damage, and a possession and manufacture of explosives or fire devices, and discharging firearm into abandoned structure vehicle. He's in some pretty serious trouble.
Good morning, Dana.
Well, that's if he gets found guilty.
Absolutely. I mean, this crime and this attack was very significant. It's a priority. It was a priority from the onset for us. And ultimately, we've put all of our resources behind it to make sure that we solve this case in record-breaking time. In fact, over 250 detectives, agents, analysts, and specialists worked around the clock for 8 days just to ensure that we held the person responsible for this attack.
The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, was on last night with Laura Ingraham. Here's what she said.
That was remarkable police work, working with the state police, our FBI. They have been going nonstop on this case. This guy is in custody. Laura, he is facing 5-year minimum mandatory to 20 years in prison. And this was great police
He'll get 20. He'll get 20 for that for sure.
work. This guy thought he got away with it.
They're going to send a signal. It'll be 20, but he'll get out earlier with parole or whatever.
So these people better look out. They better cut it out, because we are coming after you. And at my direction, there will be no negotiating on these people. We are not doing any plea negotiations on them. So they better cut it out.
Sheriff, do you think he acted alone?
You know, at this time, we're looking at all options. We believe right now that he is the only actor in this particular incident. However, we're working very closely with our FBI partners to determine whether this act was connected to any of the other attacks that have happened elsewhere in the country. The reality is we have a tremendous partnership with the FBI, one that actually is multi-layered. So not just our partnership with the local special agent in charge, but also our partnership with the FBI director. As you know, this is Director Kash Patel's hometown, and he cares deeply about keeping our community safe just as much as he cares about keeping the entire country safe.
Social media was something that you talked about after he was arrested. Is there anything that you can tell from social media to help prevent these from happening in the future? We know that calls against Tesla are coming hot and heavy all across the country.
Well, I can speak for Las Vegas, and there's absolutely zero tolerance. The sheriff here has made it very clear that we will put the full weight of the entire police department on any type of act like this to ensure that those persons are held responsible. And we also have a variety of prevention efforts happening in real.
And by the way, if the idea is to make a political stance against Elon and take away part of his company, if you like, now what's going to happen to these 3 vehicles that have been torched? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to have to give the owners of those vehicles are going to get replacement vehicles. So 3 more Teslas are going to have to be made. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's something so insignificant, but the point of it is you're not actually you're not making a dent in anything. In fact, all you're doing is increasing the production, because now they got to replace 3 Teslas. You idiot.
Time as we speak. So the reality is the counterterrorism apparatus in Las Vegas is second to none. The federal partnerships are second to none. And do not expect to come to Las Vegas and get away with any type of crime or any type of attack. And I'll just add one last point here, which is the sheriff has made it very clear that he wants to make LVMPD, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the most technologically advanced police department in the country. We are doing just that. And this case is a testament to that goal. We've deployed a variety of advanced technologies to include drones, automated license plate readers, facial recognition, forensic analysis on DNA, forensic analysis on other types of evidence, and a variety of other technologies. And that, plus the hard work of the men and women of the police department, was the reason why we were able to solve this case with very limited information from the beginning.
Fascinating, and I'm sure that other police departments will be paying attention and maybe even giving you a call to find out how they can also do the same. Sheriff, thank you for being on with us this morning.
How they can use technology to fight crime. I mean, look, my take on this is very clear, and I made this yesterday. I'll make it again now. If you do this stuff, you're a giant douchebag. You're not changing anything. You're just proving how dumb you are. And sadly, all this does is make America look dumb. It makes America, because you're fighting against your fellow American. You think those 3 cars didn't belong to the dude down the street, your neighbor potentially? You're just messing up your buddy. It's just so stupid. It's unbelievably. I just can't imagine that Americans don't see that. Like, this guy, can he not see past that? Can he not see why it's so stupid what he's doing? It's like the actions of a 4-year-old in the schoolyard. Tit for tat, right? Like, I don't like what you said, and then they go up behind you and push you from the back with your school bag. Like, it's just like, what? Dude, this doesn't make any sense. It's
hey guys, I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Well, hello there. But anywho, I'm going to go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.